Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best every week to keep it tasteful, but discretion is advised.
Now enjoy the show.
This week on Outdoors Delmarva,
This bird must come out back here.
we're headed out for a mid-season goose hunt. Tag along for a day in the field.
Then, artists from across the country flock to the Eastern Shore. We'll check out the work of local craftsmen at the Eastern Waterfowl Festival.
And from humble hideouts to the lap of luxury, we've got a view of some Delmarva deer stands you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, we'll draw a winner for our latest product giveaway. And we've got plenty of new viewer photos to share right now on Outdoors Delmarva.
Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker.
And I'm Captain Willie Dykes. We're happy to have you with us.
Yeah, we sure are, Willie. A very exciting week now because, you know, we've been pretty busy over the past month or so with all the busiest deer hunting seasons, talking about Delaware shotgun season, Maryland rifle season now coming to a close. But, well, those things are kind of tapering off right now, and we're looking straight ahead to the holiday season.
And you may have noticed some of the decorations we have around the old cabin here, including a fresh-cut Christmas tree. Yeah, that's a real beauty.
Yeah, it sure is. And just a couple of days ago, Outdoors Delmarva producer Chuck Regner and I were up in Harbison, up in Sussex County, Delaware, where Jim and Lorna Landis from Landis Tree Farm helped us pick out the perfect tree.
And there's certainly no lack of inventory when you step foot on the grounds at Landis Tree Farm. White spruce, Canaan firs, a few Frasers, and concolors for the taking. But unlike Christmas seasons past, where I've been known to window shop for hours in an evergreen grove, I was determined to make this year different.
So I'm just going to go with my gut. I'm not going to look around here for hours. It's pretty cold. So this is our Canaan fir, about 7 feet tall. And I think it's going to look perfect on the Outdoors Delmarva set.
But then again, I'm no expert, and just as I'm ready to call in the chainsaw,
It is just the right height, too.
Jim finds some inspiration to change my mind, showing me another tree just a few rows over.
I think it has your name all over it.
Yeah, you know what? I was so certain about the other tree, but now this one kind of caught my eye. It's a little bit smaller, and it kind of, you know, the fact that I'm indecisive over it kind of makes me think that maybe this is the best one.
I got 2 words for you, Mike.
And after politely vetoing Chuck's suggestion that we go the Charlie Brown route, Jim breaks out the big guns and our tree is cut. A quick moment to show off my skill for using anything as a hunting blind. I see a deer. And next step is to shake the dead needles out of our tree and get her home.
And thank you very much.
Michael, pleasure.
It's going to look great on our set.
Absolutely wonderful for us.
Make sure you come out and visit the folks here at Landis Tree Farm. And Willie, I'm going to bring this back to the studio, and I guess it's time to start decorating.
Well, this is no ordinary tree, Mike. This is an Outdoors Delmarva Christmas tree. And we started out by hanging a couple of 12-gauge slugs on the branches.
I like it.
And we're looking for some other stuff to hang on this thing that our wives would never let us put on the tree at home.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe some fishing lures or turkey calls or something like that. You know, speaking of it, we'd like to hear from you, our Outdoors Delmarva viewers. If you have any ideas for any other outdoor-related Christmas ornaments that we might be able to hang here on the tree, just send me an email at mparker@wboc.com. We'll try to make it happen so we can feature some of your ornaments here on our tree. But for now, it is on to our first story this week, and it is a great time of year to be a waterfowl hunter. Yeah, if you can wake up before the birds get moving, you can easily find yourself with your daily limit. So when I met up with some friends in Dorchester County for a mid-season goose hunt recently, they didn't disappoint.
The morning began hiding out in the tree line along one of the fields on Dave Seacott's family farm. He and his uncle, Steve McAllister, know this place well. This section of the Neck District sits a few miles outside of Cambridge and just a few hundred yards from the Little Choptank, a place where flocks of Canada geese can be spotted nearly from dawn to dusk. And when I got the invite for this pleasure hunt, I still decided to bring along the camera just for fun. And with a little creative placement, captured some of the big moment that finally came our way after about an hour of waiting. Of the 4 geese that passed, we must have doubled up on 2 or missed completely on some, but in the heat of the moment, there is nothing wrong with this outcome.
So definitely a lot of fun to be had out in the fields this time of year, and we want to say good luck to all the waterfowlers watching. By the way, it's not the last you're going to see of that particular goose hunt. We're actually going to take it a step further.
Mind if I taste that?
Go ahead, enjoy.
That sounded really delicious.
In a couple of weeks, Captain Willie will pick up where I left off, taking that wild goose meat to a local chef to whip up an easy gourmet dish. Still ahead on Outdoors Delmarva, we'll head further north up the Eastern Shore and meet local artists who will show us the beauty of birds. Plus, we'll draw a winner for our latest product giveaway. But first, did you know? Why are hunters required to use steel shot instead of lead shot when hunting waterfowl? The answer when we come back.
Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Lewis Harbor Marina, Diamond State Pole Buildings, and Shooter's Choice.
Well, there it is, 8:30 in the morning, and we're done. We had a good morning, a lot of geese here in the area, nice little Dorchester County goose hunt, and had a nice little flock come over. We did what we had to do, and here we go. Hunt another day.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Did you know? When hunting waterfowl, hunters must use steel shot instead of lead shot. This is because geese eat sand to help digest food. Lead BBs left in the ground can cause lead poisoning.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes. The waterfowl are abundant in our area year-round. In fact, many migrating birds choose to winter on Delmarva to escape the colder climates to the north. With so many birds around, it's no wonder that many local artists find them a favorite subject. From paintings, carvings, sculptures, and beyond, birds of a feather truly flock together at the Easton Waterfowl Festival.
This is a piece I made for the Masterpiece Carving here at the Waterfowl Festival in 1999. It depicts a mated pair of green-winged teal with an intruding male coming in.
Bennett Scott is a homegrown woodcarver, born and raised in Worcester County, and you can't get more local than the subjects he's chosen over the years, with each piece of intricate art reflecting the true-to-life habits and situations of wildlife found on Delmarva.
I like the birds. They're so beautiful. They're one of God's best creations, most beautiful creations that fly through here, and they're so varied. They change their plumages from season to season, and that's always interesting and challenging. The more you learn about the birds, you know, the more you love them.
For a painter, capturing moments like these requires a vivid imagination, but each scene, like these black ducks in formation, is inspired by the artist's own experiences in the field.
Little secluded pond where I've been many times, and one of my favorite little places. I come at this, you know, as a hunter from the time my father, when I was 12 years old, my father said, "You're a duck hunter," and I had to live up to that. So I never thought of it. I love the beauty that's in nature and the birds themselves, and the hunting, as opposed to appreciating the birds, never was a conflict for me.
Usually when I come to the show, I try to have a work in progress that I'm working on so people can, you know, see how these bronze sculptures work.
For a sculptor like Paul Reimer, birds have been a lifelong favorite.
I like birds because they're everywhere. I mean, you can't just drive down the road and see bears and deer, but you can drive down Route 50 and see flocks of geese and ducks everywhere, and anywhere you go you see them, and they're very animated, and it's easy to get close to birds and see them, and so I think it makes them for me, it's something that means more to me into my life.
With a gentle pull of a knife, this Dorchester County artist brings a bird rarely seen amazingly to life before our eyes.
The title of the piece is called Who Cooks for You? Because that's the sound a barred owl makes. He does that hoo 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 hoo. So I just thought I'd have a little fun with the title.
And with quality workmanship like that, it's easy to see why the Easton Waterfowl Festival draws 15,000 to 18,000 visitors each year. Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we'll visit with an old friend. Don't miss a Scorchy's Corner Classic. We'll be right back.
Scorchy's Corner Classics are sponsored by TARS Marine Insurance.
In an area that's defined by its flat landscape, finding higher ground on Delmarva isn't always an option unless you create that elevation yourself. Now for deer hunters, that's pretty important. From Chopper 16, I get a pretty good look at some pretty interesting deer stand construction. A lot of variables go into the choice of a deer stand on Delmarva. If you're not subject to nosebleeds, a high one will let you survey a lot of country. But you might need a parachute if you need to get down in a hurry. Now some hunters like to hunker down and hide, blending in with the forest vegetation. But some believe in hiding out in plain sight. The deer must be pretty thick in this part of Worcester County because the deer stands sure are, or maybe these guys get lonely if they're too far apart. It's not too hard to tell what this model did in a former life. The good thing is, when you approach it, you can tell right away if it's occupied or vacant. An Old West bunkhouse comes to mind with this design. With the windows down and a cold rain pattering on the tin roof, who cares about the deer? Let's play some cards. Sometimes it all boils down to who it's designed for. If you were expecting the Queen to stop by for a hunt, you'd want to have something special like this spacious model with a double-decker staircase located somewhere north of Willard's. The party could have a light breakfast and maybe some dancing later on. On the other hand, if it's just you and the wife doesn't count the patio furniture too often, how much do you really need? A couple of sticks and the camo bedspread and you're deer hunting. After all, design and materials are all optional, and none of it matters as long as it works. And the ingenuity of some Delmarva sportsmen never ceases to amaze me. Mike, over to you.
Thank you, Willie. Well, even as the colder weather continues to set in, many local fishermen are still at it from both boat and surf. And years ago, Scorchy Taws spent some time out on the bay for a fall fishing adventure.
The sun was just breaking over the horizon as we started our approach to Tangier Island, and we cut through the island channel to avoid the ever-increasing northerly wind. We were there to cast bucktails to trout that inhabit the wreckage every fall, some of which are so big you can't turn their heads before they get back to the safety of the wreck and cut the line. There were only 3 other boats around the wreck, all anglers from Tangier Island. And our concern in the rolly sea was to get anchored up without disturbing them. This we finally did, just in time to see a local angler pulling another big one from the rusty wreck. After quite a few casts, we finally got the range and started putting our bucktails where the fish were hiding, which was most time right in the wreck or on the immediate edge. This day was a challenge, to say the least. We had just started catching with some consistency when more boats from the western side of the bay started pouring in. With the wreck lying in only 18 feet of water and with no more than 100 yards of prime fishing area, it can quickly become overpopulated with boats jockeying for position and nobody catches fish. Tim and I picked up a couple of nice speckled trout. Perry nailed what we thought was another one, but which turned out to be one of the most controversial fish in America today, a rock. After gingerly posing the fish for pictures, we wished him luck and sent him on his merry way. All in all, it turned out to be a pretty good day. Scorchy Taws, wandering our Delmarvelous land for WBOC News.
Still ahead on Outdoors Delmarva, a visit from the area's premier nature photographer. But first, did you know? The speckled trout is also known as the spotted sea trout and the spotted weakfish.
Did You Know is sponsored by the Maryland Coastal Bays Program. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker, and I'm excited right now to be spending some time with one of the sponsors of our program, talking about Diamond State Pole Buildings. And I'm here outside one of their most recent constructions, a beautiful garage facility here in Dover, Delaware. Great looking building, and joining me right now is Dave Mason with Diamond State Pole Buildings. How you doing, Dave?
Doing great, Mike. It's great to be here. Diamond State Pole Buildings is just a local company based right here in the middle of the peninsula, and we just take pride doing our best to meet our customers' needs with pole building.
Wow, look at all the space in here. This is my type of garage. You got the boat over here. Somebody's been doing some hunting, a little duck decoy, and you can fit a ton of stuff in a place like this.
Absolutely. It's always exciting to see how much stuff goes into a building and what people use it for. This particular building, as you said, boats, lawnmowers, power tools, but other folks will use it for churches, hobby shops, mini storage, you name it. They can be used for a lot of different functions.
One thing I've noticed here, Dave, is even on the outside of the building, these structural poles really seem to blend in with the rest.
Absolutely. We have many options depending on the customer's needs. In this case, we're able to use the exact same metals on the building so it blends in nice and well. Some customers want to use more of a decorative column. Others just want to leave it exposed for more of the rustic look. So whatever the customer needs, we're able to match that need.
Well, I think this looks great. Yeah, I mean, looking around, you can see the time and the effort that went into a building like this. But in the end, Dave, aren't all pole buildings really the same?
Today's pole building is not the same pole building of 10 years ago, and at a glance, a lot of folks might think so, but when you really stop and look at the materials that are being used in a Diamond State pole building and the craftsmanship, the pride that we take in the details, a Diamond State pole building is not the same pole building as the next guy down the street.
All right, Dave Mason, thank you for showing us around. Had a blast, and thank you for sponsoring Outdoors Delmarva.
Absolutely.
Better materials, better prices, better buildings. Diamond State Pole Buildings for all your building needs.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Lewis Harbor Marina, Diamond State Pole Buildings, and Shooter's Choice.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes.
And I'm Mike Parker. Well, Willie, they put on heavy fur coats and even have the ability to store up extra fat reserves during the winter. No doubt mammals are some of nature's greatest creations.
Photographer Kevin Fleming has a unique look at some of our area's furriest residents on this week's Wild Delmarva.
We have more than 300 species of birds in Delmarva, but we have about 30 species of mammals that are here all the time. So it's a great challenge to get out there and find them. They're a little more difficult to find than the birds, and they aren't in big numbers. This little groundhog, its hole was in a daffodil patch, which just totally worked out to be a perfect situation for a nice photograph. Well, here we have a gray seal on the beach. This is in the springtime this year, down near Indian River Inlet. Seals do migrate through here. And a lot of folks that live here don't know we have them, but we do, and they're on the beach in the springtime. This is one of my favorite seal pictures. It's at Cape Henlopen State Park. He almost looks like he has a smile on his face. It's a young harp seal pup that came up on shore to recover and rest for a while they're migrating south. Just a nice portrait of a seal having a nice day on the beach. Well, photographing Chincoteague ponies, it's our largest mammal. It's bigger by far than deer and sika deer that are here and anything else. But in the right light, they can look pretty cool. This is a very blonde pony at sunrise, and all the reeds in the background are the same color as the hair, and everything kind of falls together as a nice portrait. Deer have black eyes, except this deer, which has a piebald mother, which is an albino white-tailed deer. And the mother has been particularly elusive for me. A lot of tourists have a really good picture of this deer, and I cannot seem to get one, the mother of this deer. But you can tell from the eye coloring that the parent is a
eyeball deer.
Okay, so you can see mammals are great to find here on the peninsula. Great variety of mammals here to photograph. Always fun to find and see.
It's time to give away an autographed copy of Kevin Fleming's new book, Wild Delmarva.
All right, Willie, let's test this back to the mantle here for a second while I get over here and spin this baby around.
Okay, mix them up.
I'll mix them up. Lots of postcards coming in this week. I think a lot of people would like to get a copy of that book for a friend or a relative just in time for Christmas. All right, I think that's good. Go ahead, Will. Pick a winner. What do we have?
Okay, James Portman from Frankfort, Delaware. You have a copy of Kevin Fleming's book. Congratulations.
And don't forget, photographer Kevin Fleming's new book, Wild Delmarva, is now on sale. To order your copy, go to wilddelmarva.com. And remember, $1 from each purchase will be donated to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation.
To enter to win future product giveaways featured on Outdoors Delmarva, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to Outdoors Delmarva, care of WBOC TV, 1729 North Salisbury Boulevard, Salisbury, Maryland, 21801.
Well, it's time now to share some of the photos sent in by our own Outdoors Delmarva viewers.
We begin with 9-year-old Jade Taylor from Georgetown, Delaware. Jade is the talk of the town after shooting this monster non-typical buck during last month's shotgun season. The buck, known locally as Freak Nasty, was seen many times, but the trophy goes to Jade. Great job.
Check out Mary Judd from Crisfield, Maryland, who caught this nice big rockfish while fishing the Tangier Sound recently. Mary says the 40-incher nailed a gray-colored storm lure in the late afternoon.
Here's another big fish. Carl Hall from Chincoteague landed this huge red drum from the Virginia side of Assateague Island recently. Thanks, Carl. What a catch.
And here's 9-year-old Blaine Ward from Pittsville, Maryland. This young hunter shot this nice spike buck during the Maryland rifle season. Blaine's mom tells us her son is learning to hunt from his dad. And we love sharing your outdoor photos here on the show, so please keep them coming. You can upload them directly to outdoorsdelmarva.com using Flickr, or just email me at mparker@wboc.com.
Well, Mike, that's about all the time we have for this week, and there's no doubt the holiday season is upon us.
It's a great time of year, and I think you've given me kind of a hint there. Probably time I should start looking for your Christmas present, huh?
Well, anything but deer meat, Mike. I have plenty. For Mike Parker, I'm Captain Willie Dykes, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.
No deer meat. What about, I don't know, goose meat? Rockfish. Turkey jerky. Should I keep going here?
Yeah, I can. Come on, you're going to hit me here in a minute.